Of course, we are about to do is certainly not suitable for sensitive viewers or even children. Police are investigating this horrific murder of 28-year-old Tshegofatso Pule. Her body, with multiple stab wounds, as you heard, was found hanging from a tree in that veld that was in the report in Roodepoort, Johannesburg, on Monday. Police say Pule was last seen at Westlake Complex in Florida. This is now where her boyfriend lives. She was 8 months pregnant at the time. To discuss this further, we're now joined by Themba Masango. He is the Secretary General of Not In My Name SA. Themba, thanks for chatting. Thanks for being with us here on this program.
Hi, Leanne. Trying to hold back my actually watching this snippet that you just showed now. It's really a painful thing to see that in the midst of this pandemic that we're currently facing of coronavirus, we have a major one at the moment of women dying on a daily basis in South Africa still. And it seems as though it's falling on deaf ears. It feels as though the country has gone numb at the rate of femicide and that goes on in our country. And as much as we're calling for justice for Black lives, we need to really start calling for justice for women. It's really, really, really a pain at the moment. And if we don't turn this around, it's going to be difficult for us to have sisters, wives, and so on in the future. Really, it's really a problem. And we as men need to take the plight of the struggle, because women don't kill themselves, they don't rape themselves. It's done by us, men. And we really need to put a change to this, and there should be an uproar and an uprising, particularly by us men, to say enough is enough. And we should call one another out. We should really be the ones that are watching each other and saying to one another that your funny, misogynistic, flimsy jokes that you say about women are the things that actually come on to a point where women actually get raped in this country, and it needs to come to a stop.
It really does. And I mean, you bring it against the backdrop of where we're sitting, and that, of course, is in this COVID-19 situation where we unfortunately saw the abuse of women, of children, again increasing at a time, especially when we found ourselves in level 5 and level 4, where they could not leave the environment that they were living in. And, we still look at and hope we don't want to see the statistics of how many women may have lost their lives during those times, because there was nowhere for them to run. And, this is the reality, the daily reality, that we have these heart-wrenching, insanely graphic deaths that are happening. I mean, they're not just a woman being killed. This is a woman being brutally murdered. What is at the heart of all of this? Why the anger? Why this abuse in South Africa?
Exactly, and that's the painful thing, that why is it so brutal? I mean, she was 8 months pregnant. Clearly anybody can see that. And what type of animal, what type of human being goes out and stabs her to death and then still goes and hangs her on a tree? Obviously, we don't know who it is that has done this, and it's inferred that it may be the boyfriend. We are hoping that the investigation will be carried out and things will be done orderly and properly. But we are looking for justice, and it needs to be done quickly. It needs to be done venomously. The perpetrators need to be found as quickly as possible.
They certainly do. And I mean, I know you mentioned that the investigation is still taking place, but as we saw in the report, as you mentioned, she was last seen leaving her boyfriend's place, and we need answers. I mean, he led her into the car where that was it. She was gone. And as we've said, 8 months pregnant at the time. It's hard to even talk about this because we don't know the facts that are coming out of this. But, these stories are shocking, and we have to ask, what kind of a person from what kind of a background, from what kind of past experiences may act this particular way? What are we looking for in these abusive characters?
Yeah, and here's the thing, is that no abuser, no murderer has got this written over. You'll probably find that this is probably one of the nicest guys that you're going to come across. This is a person who's actually a friend or somebody that knew her, perhaps somebody who is soft-spoken and so on, but it seems as though something comes over these guys and murderers, and we don't know what happens, and they go and kill our sisters like this. That is why I feel that we should really start calling for the death penalty, especially for such heinous crimes, because even psychologists and psychiatrists have even proven that these people are unrepented. You can't rehabilitate them. Prison only hardens them. So we should really start thinking hard that should we have such people in our prison system where we are paying tax and they are getting 3 meals a day and an education there, where we know that after 5 years or so they're going to get a parole and come back and commit the same crimes. Do we really need such people in our society? Is this not the time for us to say that let's get rid of these people once and for all, because they have proven that they don't want to be part of the human race, they don't want to progress with humanity, and they see women as subjects to be murdered, raped, and killed.
You know, we obviously saw in September, I think it was last year, that the president added more money, 500 million rand, to the 1.6 billion emergency fund for the violence against women and children, the gender-based violence. It doesn't seem to be working, does it? Because perhaps you can throw as much money as you like into it, but the punishment is clearly not harsh enough in terms of what women go through and how men are getting away with it.
You can throw as much money as you want to it, as long as there is no genuine desire to see a change, as long as you have people in their air-conditioned offices who really don't care about the plight of women or the issue of gender-based violence in the country. It's not going to change. You need to get this situation on the ground. You need to visit the bar rooms. You need to visit the clubs, the locker rooms. You need to have a real groundswell of change, and that starts with men saying that we are tired of losing our sisters to men who are just evil and see that women are just things to be used and get rid of. And unfortunately, that attitude exists in a lot of our guys out there. So putting money into programs and having nice documents written up won't help. We need to see clear action, and we need to see the prison system work. We need to see the judicial system work. We need to see these people being thrown into jail and the keys thrown away. And as I say, perhaps also trying to get the death sentence back with regards to these type of crimes.
All right, we've got to leave it there, Themba. Thanks so much for talking to us here on the program. Themba Masango is the Secretary General of the #NotInMyNameSA, an organization talking to gender-based violence and obviously from the man's point of view, but addressing this gruesome murder of Tshegofatso Pule, that her body was found on Monday, 8 months pregnant, hanging in a tree in a park in Roodepoort. Devastating story. Let's take a